Hello, I'm Paul Melrose, Assisting Pastor for Pastoral Care here at First United Methodist Church of Madison, Wisconsin. Today, as I share some thoughts, you will be seeing a series of 6 images posted on her Facebook page by a friend of mine from boarding school, Kent School in Kent, Connecticut, Ginny Amsler. Ginny is a great photographer, and it is always a joy when she posts more pictures. What caught my eye were not only these images, however, but the words with which she introduced them. She said, "Peaceful sunset solitude, alone on the beach, but not alone." She posted these as I was on vacation a couple of weeks ago. I had just returned from a walk, taking me through some neighborhood streets, a marsh, a brief walk through some woodland, and then a stretch along the northern Yahara before it becomes Lake Mendota. Water is a place where I can feel alone and not alone. The walk by the Yahara is my favorite part of the walk, and in solitude for a brief time, a time just to be with myself and also with God. I am usually a person who does not like to be alone. A feeling of loneliness can sneak up on me and take hold. It often comes quickly, and sometimes I'm afraid of it and try to shake it off or not to let it happen. But sometimes on walks, particularly when I'm by water, I can find myself at peace with my thoughts and with myself and with God, who knows our thoughts even before we speak them. Now, I know we can't all find solitude in this way. It might almost be considered a matter of privilege, because many of us live in homes and neighborhoods that are busy, full of people, louder noises, a lot of activity bustling here and there. There's not always that time to be alone in solitude in any great kind of way, free from the hustle bustle of life. But still, in even the busy places, God invites us, if only for a moment or two, to take a brief, deep breath. And it's almost as if one of the scriptures of this kind of attitude reminds us, "Be still and know that I am God." And yet silence and solitude also remind me of a scripture that was a call to worship that used to begin my Sunday school class back when I was a child. "The Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silent before him." So the pictures of Ginny took me to a place I do not often let myself enter, the Lord's temple, if you will. And at various times it is a church sanctuary. It could be a walk by the water. It could be just a moment with myself. So I hope you enjoy these images as I continue to share a few thoughts. They are a prayer in themselves. There's a real sense that one path to greater life, greater faith, is to engage with the other. Jacob wrestles with the angel and comes away a changed person. It is said he becomes father of many nations. Jesus took on his call to discipleship, which was not only taking him to places of engagement where he spoke in public and engaged with people who were marginalized, but at the same time, his solitude took him to a wilderness where he engaged with the devil. For me, a time of solitude is not necessarily an engagement with the devil, but as I've suggested, it has not often been a friendly time. But it is a time to be still in mind, body, soul, heart, any of those or all of those, just to breathe, take in and let out. In reading one of my spiritual mentors, Parker Palmer, he refers to this piece of wisdom from Thomas Merton. "It seems to me that I have a greater peace when I am not trying to be contemplative or trying to be anything special, but simply orienting my life fully and completely toward what seems to be required of a man like me at a time like this. For me, I realize solitude comes to me when I can accept what is required of me at a time like this. And that requirement It is summed up for me best by the prophet Micah. When asked, "What does the Lord require of you?" the answer is, "Do justice, love mercy, walk humbly with God." In my solitude, as I view these pictures and so many others I see on my Facebook page, which Ginny posts, in walking by the water or sometimes just walking or having a moment to myself with myself, Micah's words come not as a requirement, as if to pass a test, but as words of hope, transformation. And they come at a time in history much earlier than when Jesus lived and spoke, but they have a timeless quality to them, inviting me to consider who I am before God, my neighbor, and myself. Solitude, I have learned, gives me a chance to think, be critical until that part of me that has had its chance to be critical then goes away, and then to listen to what God has to say. And in that quietness, if only in my mind or in my heart, there comes a moment of peace, the peace which passes all understanding. The sun sets, and when it rises, I do too, refreshed by the solitude of sleep I have experienced. The rising sun is as much a miracle and a thing of beauty as the setting sun. Thanks be to God.